Whoa, countdown.
Yeah, and we'll be streaming.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't know until
I see
afterwards if we're actually streaming or not. But
I see red dots. That's a good sign.
yeah, that's something. Well, that reminds me, I should probably my do not disturb on.
Yeah, I got a phone call
Oh.
last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
And the cat call.
Well, he
I was
usually
he
gets
really?
that. So.
The cat.
Oh God, dude.
Okay, 15 seconds.
Oh, no wine this week.
Well, I don't know if we're streaming this week, but we did stream last week. We were officially on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. I think that's it. We're still waiting back to hear. We're still waiting to hear back from LinkedIn.
No, yeah,
We're apparently not good enough for live streaming on LinkedIn.
that's a high. That's a big bar.
Yeah, I just imagine that though. Just imagine, like, because I didn't know you could stream live on LinkedIn. There's a bunch of people talking about like marketing and finding your purpose and all that bullcrap that you just see, and then there's just us. You know what I mean? Talking about
like the
going through
renegades
a
on
divorce.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. Like, I could see why they haven't done that. I actually haven't signed us up for the Twitter streaming yet either, so I'll be getting on.
Lagging.
Yeah, I
Missing
know.
out.
Anyway, hey everybody, welcome to VM Live. My name is. I am the host of the show, and with me, as always, man, myth, legend, founder of VM, and close friend, Mr. Jeffrey Hoffman. What's going on, brother?
Not much, guys. How are you today?
I'm here.
Nah.
So
It's been a week. I think it's been. I think it's been a week for a lot of people. Seems like.
And we also have our buddy Adro. How you doing, dude?
It's been a rough week, but Super Bowl is on Sunday, so excited for that.
We haven't come up with a bet for the Super Bowl. We did it for fantasy, and then we did it for fantasy. We paid money, so I guess that was just the fantasy league. But then we did our hat bet, but we didn't do anything for the Super Bowl. I think it's because we don't care about either of the teams. It's still Ohio, so like that's still.
Oh no!
Kind of
I'm not taking LA on behalf of California. Fuck that. No.
That's funny. Well, I when I played like Pee Wee football, we were all they would give us professional NFL sports team names or whatever sticker on our helmets, and I played for the Vikings, the Packers, and I also played for the Rams. And so, like in a weird way, I sometimes will cheer for those teams because it's like, well, yeah, I played 20 years ago.
I was a part of them.
I have the jersey. Like and then my nephew, though, it was really weird. My nephew, for his, I think this was during flag football, because this is when they started to realize you probably shouldn't put like 6-year-old kids in tackle football gear and have them charging each other. They used college team names, and that was really, really weird because it wasn't like the Buckeyes for OSU. You know what I mean? They would actually say like Ohio State Buckeyes. He played for Ole Miss. And I thought that was
Ole
the
Miss,
weirdest thing in
running
the world.
Rebels.
Like, they were the Ole Miss Rebels. And I'm like, that just like, I use Rebels, use their colors, but you're not associated with the college at all. Like, why are you having the, and there were fights over what colleges you could pick. And it was,
Really?
Yeah, he played for Ole Miss. He played for Ole Miss, and his uncle played for. I was a journeyman, man. And the Rams, the Vikings, the Packers.
You were a scrub that everyone just signed 1-year contracts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Every free agent every year.
Yeah. Well, I started out. It was complicated because I started out as a lineman because I was over the weight limit. Because I don't know if that was the way it is. Well, did you guys even play youth football?
I did.
Okay.
didn't.
They would
we didn't.
stripe. Did you do that? Did they do that for you?
Yeah, they did
Weight
something like
limit?
that.
Yeah.
What was the stripe?
If you weighed over a certain amount of pounds, and I think like the first year was like 85, and I was like 86, and I wasn't fat at that point. I was but I was just a bigger kid. You weren't allowed to like run the football, because you were just too big for the little kids to tackle. So like, and like if you got like so you're a lineman, but like if you got an interception or something like that, you were automatically dead.
You had to
Is
stop.
basically
Yeah.
what they did.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I started out as a lineman, and then moved over to tight end, and then was a running back, quarterback. So it was like I went to these different teams, and I think that's why I kept only getting 1 year deals, is because they kept changing my position on me. But anyway,
we
so
had
yeah,
small teams.
Yeah.
We had to play like both ways. Did you have to do that too? Like O line play D line? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You switch back and forth?
Yeah.
Yeah. You play like the whole game. Third quarter, everyone's dead tired.
Yeah.
Oh my
bad.
gosh. Wow.
I didn't get to do that. Get to only play on one side theoretically until high school. But even then, if they needed you on the other side, like you played, I mean,
You had to go.
quarterbacks, some of the running backs and that kind of stuff, but a lot of the linemen or,
Yeah.
kind of interior defense. Sorry, man. So you're out
Yeah.
there like as a cornerback, or as a wide receiver running routes, and then
a corner.
you're
That
out
was
as a
me.
quarterback,
That was me. That was me.
chasing
Yeah.
the guys down. They're just running wind sprints the entire time. But yeah, so part of me, basically, long story short, I don't really care who wins because I played for the Rams, but the Bengals are from Ohio, so
That sounds so funny.
uh,
Like you're like a
yeah.
retired football player. I
Yeah,
played
I
for
feel
the
like it
Rams.
sometimes. I got up this morning and my knee locked up, and it took me like 10 minutes to like straighten my leg out to be able to get out of bed.
Ouch.
So there are days where I do feel like I played for.
Well, I'll admit that I don't know who's playing in the Super Bowl.
What?
The
I don't know.
Yeah.
The Lakers.
The Lakers and the Redondo Beach. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So our topic for this evening's show is kind of on dating. I kind of said it in kind of a jokey way, kind of the art of meeting people, the art of almost the art of pickup, and we're not going to give like full-on advice on how to do that. At least I wasn't planning on it. You
got to subscribe for that kind of advice. I ain't free.
Yeah. That's $19.99 a month for that kind of coaching. And the reason we're in Valentine's Day is coming up, and there's a lot of shows and information and stuff about relationships, and we had a couple episodes with Bob last year where we were kind of working into the dating. Thought it'd be kind of fun if we could kind of share some of our experiences with that first part, with that first initial meeting, initial dating, when things when you're getting to know each other, that interview process, because I really think the first couple of dates are more or less an interview if you're looking at dating. Now if you're looking at hooking up, it's it's like when you go into a
do you meet one of the qualifications?
Like immediately? Yeah. Can you be here on time?
Are you alive?
What's your relative distance to me right now?
What is your did you extend it out to 5 miles yet, Jeff? Or are we still
no, I don't have it. I don't have anything installed right now.
A football field. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have anything installed.
I don't have anything installed. I'm just raw dogging life right now, man.
What about you, Adria? Do you have anything installed? You've been super busy as of late, so I'm kind of curious with that.
You mean like dating apps?
Yeah.
No, I don't have anything. That's still for me like ways away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
But I do have maybe some possibilities though. Yeah.
Got some numbers stored.
When I first did from my ex, Tinder and that's the main one. Bumble, I don't even know if Bumble was out yet, but like all of those were in full swing. That concept of the swipe dating, like playing.
Yeah. Oh
Since
yeah.
there have been fish. I mean, it's been around forever.
Yeah.
OkCupid as
Yeah.
well, Match,
Yeah.
Yeah.
FarmersOnly.com,
Oh yeah.
which is
Christian
the
Mingle.
best
Christian
one so far.
Mingle, yeah.
Christian Mingle,
Mm-hmm.
and
swiping the phone
countless
across.
others have been around forever. But then I think
Sorry.
I think it was Grinder was kind of the first one of that location based,
Was
and
it
then
really?
Tinder. I
Was
think
it?
it was, or like
Oh,
of the app variety, pure. Because when Tinder came out, it was a more or less a hookup app. Now people use it kind of for whatever, um, including
really?
validation and not dating. But
Mm.
I
Oh,
think Grinder
yeah,
was
I
at
can see
least
that.
in that. Yeah, I think that was one of the, at least it was, if it wasn't the first, it was one of the early adopters to that concept of not the full on
Distance
profile,
based.
just this person's 0.5 miles away, and
You're 6 miles.
you
You're
know,
5 miles.
yeah.
Facebook dating is like that.
I haven't. Well, I've been in a relationship since Facebook dating started, so I haven't gotten a look at how
I
that
never
is.
understood that because that's not an app, right? It's like a section of it or something.
Yeah, it's just a
Facebook
different
dating.
section of it.
Oh,
I like checked it out like when I the courage.
okay.
I'm gonna set up a dating app, and for whatever reason, that was the first one I went. I didn't set
Hmm.
anything up, but yeah.
I
Yeah,
think with
dipped your toe on.
Facebook, it connects you to people that are nearby and like friends of friends or something like that. Like it
Okay.
tries to stay within
Mm.
kind of your extended social network
Okay.
versus just random people, that fit
That's
your
kind of.
your
I think there's something to
preferences.
be said for that. Like if you meet somebody that you met through somebody that you know, that they kind of
Mhm.
they're already they're already vetted. You feel safer with that person a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. There's kind of they're kind of vouching for that other
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone. I don't. People I know are dumbasses. So
Yeah, yeah. You're like, do you know any of my friends? Yeah, sorry, we got to go.
that's
Sorry.
the
Right.
issue.
They left. Yeah, not gonna work.
But before that stuff happened, in college and in high school when I'd sneak into bars, it was all in person. You had
Yeah.
MySpace, but like nobody used the you couldn't like just like search for somebody's name on because everybody had weird,
Yeah.
screen name
Oh
type
my
things. So
god.
like, you just had to hope that they had their first and last name in their MySpace username. I think I was like a Buffy lover or something like that. So like um
Mine was like Aztec God 05 or something like that.
I think we were friends, man.
That's a great name, man.
That is a
That's
good
a
name.
great name. The hashtag God.
Oh
But
five.
when we did it, we had to do it in person. We had to walk up to people
Oh,
cold, and that's something that I don't think many like straight women will completely understand, that kind of that fear,
mm. Oh, yeah.
that it is one of the most terrifying things in the world to do, is walk up to somebody, a woman that you don't know, and try to strike up a conversation with them. I don't know how it is for women to men. I feel like it would be a little bit easier. Besides
I
maybe
want.
societal.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine it's just as hard. I would imagine it's just as hard, the fear of rejection. But I can't speak for that. For women. But I think there's the expectation that men would initiate the conversation. So I would imagine there's less pressure to think that if something is going to happen, it's less on their shoulders. But I don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, I don't either. And I don't have any personal experience with approaching men.
Mm.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Would it, Jeff, you've done that. Is it easier? Is it about the same? Are men more chill? And in
I think
general, obviously, there's a wide range you could
there's.
go with that, but
I think it's easier. I think it's easier with men
Approaching
because,
man.
yeah, I think so. Because, I shouldn't say that, because it's hard to know if somebody is into you or not.
mhm,
Because I've heard stories of guys approaching guys and the other guy's completely
could go
not into it, and
way
they
wrong.
actually get really upset. But you can kind of tell. It's like a look or something. And then once there's kind of like a bit of some body language exchanged, there's a feeling of, I don't know, it just feels less intimidating. I feel less intimidated by guys than I do by women personally.
Okay.
Huh.
I have to admit that most of, I mean, you mentioned striking a conversation in person. I don't. Most of the people that I've dated, I've met online, and it feels less. I feel less afraid of rejection when I can type it out. But you know, I don't know. But I'm sure that I've mentioned a while ago that I was when I first started dating, I was very scared of that. I was very scared of
Yeah.
approaching a woman. And so I challenged myself to just start a conversation with no expectations. I'm not going to go in thinking I'm hoping I'm going to sleep with her. I'm hoping I'm just going to try to get outside my comfort zone and initiate a conversation. Um, and that helped. That helped a bit.
Yeah.
But
How
it's
many
very
didn't you have a
uncomfortable.
number? Wasn't there like a number
I
that
wanted
you
to
were
get this. I sound like I don't know how this is going to come up, but I wanted to get to 100. My goal was to get to initiate conversation and just genuinely, and
Uh-huh.
not only attractive women, not
Mhm.
just anybody, literally anybody, because I was so frustrated with myself that I was so intimidated by women
Mhm.
that I was kind of defeating myself by putting them on a pedestal and being afraid of rejection. I got to 15.
Ask what's your number
Yeah.
now?
Now, yeah, that was just
No, you stopped
conversations,
counting.
15 conversations.
You
What's
oh,
that?
okay. I was gonna say you stopped counting though, so you could have had countless after that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Now I feel a lot more sure of myself and less now it's not really a destination I'm shooting for. It's more of a does it work out? Is there chemistry? But in person
Mhm.
is really hard. In person is very uncomfortable.
It is.
Yeah.
We went for, I mean, the first couple of years of college, that was we kind of did something similar. Our goal was to kind of get over that hump, and so we would play all sorts of games and do all sorts of silly stuff
Mm.
because we were young idiots. A couple of us had, we'd give somebody a pickup line, and it was always something really dumb, like, I like
Oh my
salads. Do you
god.
want to be my friend? Like something stupid like that.
Oh, pickup.
And we'd say, you got to go say that to that girl, and we'll go check.
Oh,
We'll go make sure. And we
oh
would go
man.
up and at a place like a bar or something like that. We never said anything offensive or anything. It was just silly or normal. It really did help us kind of get over that fear a little bit,
Mm,
that kind of,
Yeah.
because you didn't care. You just flat out didn't care, because your mission wasn't to pick her up or to date her or to marry her. It was to win this bet. So, like, the motives were completely different, and when we did those things, weirdly enough, we had a lot more success, because it's like
mm.
it felt like there was no desperation. There was no, there was, I'm going to say this to you if we talk, cool, but really I just want to go back and get my drink. And it worked out a lot more than it didn't in that
do you
environment like that.
do you think it was more the wingman effect or whatever, having guys that are just kind of like right behind you or next to you going, dude, you can do this, or is it more of the
That might put
just
more
trying to
pressure on you. Like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah
well, they were
yeah,
in,
yeah.
we always separated out enough. So you had to go out. You didn't We purposely didn't, you didn't want to have that
undercover
strength or your
mission.
This,
boys behind
this
you.
sounds
You know what I mean?
like
You
on a
know?
plane of like the animals splitting up so they can
Yeah,
attack the
exactly.
Yeah.
bell.
Like that,
Like
like
we
that's
didn't, we split up.
world with the raptors. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we did that on purpose though. We did that on purpose
Yeah.
because we thought it'd be more challenging if you were more or less alone, and B, we didn't want to like group watch walking up to women, like three or four or five
Yeah.
dudes like walking up to women
Yeah.
and having one guy say something silly with a bunch of
Is he
dudes
saying
standing
it?
behind, like,
Yeah.
oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. We felt that would be terrifying to, I've never been approached by five guys, but I imagine if I were a woman at a
Oh.
bar and five dudes rolled up on me, so we never really did it that way. You were on your own, and I think what it was is, the ridiculousness of the comment was different, so there was a little bit of a, what is this
Mm.
guy doing, but then the fact that we legitimately, the mission was not to get the phone number or not to hook up or anything, like there
Mm.
was no, and
It's almost like the goal was to overcome your own fear.
yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it was,
Yeah.
and we did it, and it worked, you know
Mm.
it took a long time to kind of do it, but it did help. It did help with being able to walk up and talk, but anybody. There's no fear, because especially with, like, where I'm from in Ohio, everybody talks to each other anyway. So like that concept is, and it's been beneficial in other parts of my life, getting over that fear, because now I feel a lot more comfortable walking up and talking to strangers and stuff for various business, networking and all that kind of stuff. So weirdly enough, that did have a lot of crossover. Now, I don't generally walk up to people at networking events and ask them if they like salad and they want to be my friend.
Want a salad?
But,
that was my line. Damn it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to continue this conversation right after the break. 2 minutes. I am hearing echo. I'm hearing myself. Somebody's microphone is picking up me. Probably other people too, but I only notice it.
If I turn the output on my mic down, would that help?
Maybe.
Are you able to tell the difference right now, or will you only be able to tell later?
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. No, I don't hear anything. So.
Huh.
That's weird.
Should I put my output down? Here, I just put it down a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see. Where are we at the time? 1 minute, I think. Yeah. It'd be real cool is we can actually run live ads on this thing, since I have the access to the video.
Oh, that you could put up a live ad.
Yeah, just mute everybody. They're just an ad for.
Join our OnlyFans.
It's coming soon. Okay, 30 seconds.
So here's my wine.
Ooh, got refilled.
Mine did too.
Okay, 10 seconds. That's my jam right there. Adro, you got to remember to remind me. I forgot to do it. For those of you watching on the YouTube, please remember to smash that thumbs up button, like button, whatever button you're supposed to hit that's positive, and subscribe and all that jazz so you can get alerts or whatever. Me personally, I never do that. Like, I'll subscribe to people, but I've never once gotten an alert. I don't even get an alert when we post a video. I just imagine like all those alerts coming in. I used to do it, but then my phone was just blowing up from all the videos all the time, especially now with the YouTube Shorts. I'm like, cool. But if you could subscribe to us, that way you see us in your little subscription area, that'd be awesome. Okay, so we did have a comment in the Discord server. We're streaming this live on the Discord server as well, and Evan, our producer, who's behind the glass right now, mans the chats. If you want to participate in the live discussions with us, the Discord server is the place to do that. I guess we do have a comment that said, one of the guys said that they never had any luck on dating apps. They don't even get messages back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish there was like a. Yes. I wish there was
increase that radius, buddy.
There was it on the server? I think it was. Yeah, it was on the server. But I also saw a comment on TikTok about how some women were surprised to hear that people pay for Tinder.
That was on one of the shows. I mean, you start seeing it everywhere. But I think when we had Bob on, we were like, yeah, we paid. Yeah. He paid for the extra thing, and she's like, "What?" And it's like, "Yeah, you run out of swipes."
Oh yeah,
guy.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Well, I mean, it's right or wrong. It's very similar to like a ladies' night. at a
Right. Yeah.
at a bar.
Yeah.
If you get the women in for free, the men in theory will
Mhm.
then come.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when I the process of dating after divorce, I did download the apps, and I came across a lot of the same, not no responses back, no,
Mhm.
everyone, matches every once in a while and that kind of stuff. And then we talked to Steph about this, and she gave us all the research that said, okay, we'll have this really good picture and do this really good thing and do this really
Yeah.
good thing,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
like, but
she was
that's
so
still not doing,
scientific
like,
with
you got
it.
no results. um
Yeah.
and I I'm not a sociologist, or I'm not even sure what kind of expert would look into the reasons for that. I imagine it's because women probably have a lot more um, matches in those than we do. Um, we had somebody on the server, a girl, saying that there's just hundreds of them. So it's just not being able to get through
Yeah.
all those people. Let alone, you got to do something crazy to get noticed, but not weird and not over the top.
Mhm.
Like it's a really
A
weird
lot of
fine line to
rules.
cross.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
And
you had to, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, like, what happened with me is I ended up getting angry, and
Yeah.
at the concept of dating apps, at the fact that uh, I was getting some response here and there, but I would see all of these profiles of, like, it drove me nuts where they would have no information, like no information for me to go on. They like to have fun. Okay,
Like to travel,
thanks. Yeah,
Okay.
I like food. I like
foodie. Yeah.
tacos. Or in
Yeah.
Ohio, it was always, I'm not like other women. I like
Mhm.
hunting and mudding and football, and it's like in Ohio, that makes you exactly like a
Mhm.
lot of other women. So, but
Mhm.
they'd give you nothing, and then they would say, don't just say hello. And I'm old fashioned. I say hello when I meet somebody. But that, so yeah, that I would get angry, and so I just ended up, you know, um, deleting everything.
It's very frustrating. It's
Yeah.
very frustrating.
It's one of the reasons why I haven't like started doing that, because I know like the state I'm in emotionally right now, like rejection like that or not getting something would be like
Hmm.
crushing to me at this moment. So that's why I say I'm
It's
not doing it.
wise. I mean,
Yeah.
you walk into it and, you can install Tinder for free, and then I don't know how many you run out, 20,
Something like that.
30
20 or 30.
swipes, and then it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
So
you want
five
more
seconds.
swipes?" Yeah,
One, two, three,
yeah.
four,
Boom,
five,
boom,
six,
boom,
seven,
boom,
and
boom. Yeah. You're like, "Nope, okay." And
done
then
for the day.
yeah, it's like $30 a month or 45 or
Yeah.
20.
It's not cheap. It's not
See,
cheap.
fuck that.
Yeah, yeah. And then you
Porn is cheaper
continue.
per month.
Yeah, it's discouraging. You feel you feel dejected, kind of like, God, am I really that bad that nobody,
Yeah, exactly.
it's very discouraging. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard in the moment. It's hard to sit there when you're feeling that way and not blame the women, but it's not their fault all the
Right.
time. It's just as much our fault, just as much the app's fault. It's the
Yeah.
concept of all these kind of things. The one nice thing though is the fact that you can block people. Like, just imagine if, like, there was some sort of magic like that in a bar. If, like, you hit on someone or they hit on you and you didn't like them, and you could just be like
You
block,
just
and they would just
swipe.
disappear
Just
off the bar, out of the bar. But the funny thing, I had more success in the post Tinder world by going old school with it, and talking to people in person,
Oh, really?
Huh.
because yeah, they weren't expecting it, because nobody
What
does
did
it
you
really
do?
anymore.
Like, where were you when you did it? Like, what did you say? I'm so
Well,
curious.
bars, coffee shops, the normal grocery
Okay.
stores, the normal places where would traditionally,
Grocery
like,
store.
oh, that's a hot girl, I'm gonna go walk up and talk to her.
And
Um,
what did you say? I'm so fat. I'm like,
Jeff,
I
his
wait,
eyes are
I'm
so
like,
big.
hold on. Okay, I'm like, go
yeah,
ahead.
right. I
What
told her I was a
section?
part of a
What
men's
aisle?
mental health organization,
Yeah.
and it
Oh,
killed
that's
every
always
time. No,
hot. Yeah. Like, okay.
This
yeah,
guy's
I kept things, I
Hmm.
kept things contextual to what was going on, and I made sure, unless they were wearing something crazy or awesome, like eye catching, I didn't comment on their looks. So something at some store asking somebody about an ingredient. that they're holding, and
Mm.
just make sure that they're not holding something like super obvious, like onion. Like, so what do you put that in?
Can of soup.
Or do it and
How do
just
you
kind of
do
lean
that?
into the joke, lean into it a little bit. Like,
Onion,
uh,
onion rings.
Well, what
right?
there was somebody in the publics section earlier this week. We were talking about this. We
Mm,
were because there was somebody that said, "How do I do this? How do I initiate a
mm.
conversation?" And what did he do? It was genius because it worked really well.
I don't
Do you
remember
remember what it was?
because I remember a
Oh, it
later
was
part
he
of.
was asking for style advice. He was asking a pair
Oh
of
yeah.
glasses. He was saying,
Oh,
"What do you think? Do you think this one or that one better?" And then
oh.
they started to joke about something, and then
So
they
was
had
he
a
like
date.
at like the eyeglass
I forget where he
like
was. I think it
kiosk or
might.
whatever they call those
No, I don't
things?
think he was. I think he was. I
Oh,
think he said he was at a restaurant or something, and like his
Mm,
friend
mm.
had given him the
oh,
glass. It was something like that.
But he was
It
asking
was
for advice
something.
though, and
Yeah,
okay.
it
yeah.
turned
It
out
might have
well for
been.
him. I mean, do you know what was cool about it? Because I think he had another conversation with a guy too, and
Hmm.
they also had like a coffee or lunch or something like that. But he approached it with the perspective of I just want to get better at this, and it
Hmm.
was really cool to watch him kind
Yeah,
of. And it was just a couple, over the last week or so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
that's usually
Yeah.
how I do things to like find a commonality. Is like what
Hmm.
Jack was. But at the grocery store is kind of throwing me off because I know
Hmm.
when I'm grocery, and maybe it's just because of the way I am, but I know when I'm grocery shopping, it's like I'm trying to get the hell out of
Yeah,
Mm,
possible. Like don't
yeah.
talk to me. Like
Hmm.
like you
mm.
need help
Usually
with an
I am
ingredient,
too. Yeah,
Google that shit.
yeah. Right.
What do you mean?
Sugar, you put it in your
Cardamom? Just look it
coffee.
up, dumbass.
Uh,
Well, no coffee there.
all these women in Adriel's area are walking up to him like hitting on him, and he's just like, "It's corn, just cut it up like it's cool." I don't know. Um,
Usual like
but
no hablo inglés, so
yeah,
they can avoid me.
I'm
You see,
usually
Aztec God 05. Sorry. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Did I know you on MySpace back in 2002?
I go shit.
Uh, uh, most of the time I'm that way too. I'm a beeline to whatever I need to get and get out. But sometimes I'll go in and I want inspiration for a meal or want to do something, or
Yeah.
and I got nowhere else to be or whatever. So I'll
Yeah.
I'll
The grocery
just
store.
take my time or whatever. Yeah, pick up shit.
Piggly Wiggly.
I think
But
about it.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because you get different kinds of people depending on what grocery store you go to. Like if you go to
Oh
like
yeah.
the local
Whole
place, you get a
Foods.
certain kind. If
Ooh
you go to the
yeah.
farmer's market, you get a certain
Yeah.
kind. You go to
Trader
Whole
Joe's,
Foods.
maybe.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite
There's
things
like
to
a.
do is to go to Whole Foods and buy a lot of meat. And just all the vegans there get real upset because you slap down. You're like, it's grass
Also go
fed. Well,
broke.
the cow was vegan. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
Whole
Um,
Foods, aka whole paycheck.
I think
there
about
was
it. I think about approaching people there, but I get too nervous. I
at
get
Whole
stuck in my
Foods.
head. That's what well, just anywhere, just like a grocery
Oh, okay.
store or
I was
whatever.
just
Like,
asking if they
oh,
have a
that
bag.
oh.
Oh, there
Do
you
you
go.
have a
Oh,
bag?
by the
Oh,
way,
I like that. What do you think of these glasses? Like, why
I
you're not even
that
wearing glasses?
Yeah, that surprised me. Like, good for him. But I
Yeah, that
think
was good.
that's something that should be remembered and practiced a little bit. Is if you do it in person, you're doing something that not everybody else is doing. Because
Mhm.
I hate to be of like this age now, but like I've talked to younger men and like they've never done that. So that
Mhm.
concept is
no, yeah,
foreign.
they don't have to.
Yeah.
Outside of like a
Yeah,
friend of a friend in a group, right? Yeah, when you just pull up on your phone, so that it's kind of a lost art,
Mhm.
of trying to, just walk up and see if there's a connection. And I've noticed that it works. Not every
Mhm.
time,
it
not
does.
the
Yeah,
majority of the time. I mean, like that's just how human beings are, but there
Yeah.
is something to be said about going old school because people aren't used to it and it's different
Yeah.
and it's shocking and it's, you know, um,
You'd
especially
stand
if
out for
you're,
sure.
yeah, if you are
yeah.
Yeah.
younger, like if I do it to somebody my age, it's not that unheard of because we all did it in
That's
college.
what we
But
did.
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
you're in your early 20s, and
Yeah.
you
I think
walk
it's
up to
still
somebody at
uncommon
a,
though.
is it
You know,
really?
I can I think so. I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I can think of, not that it's the same, but I can think of, probably I can count on one hand the number of compliments that I've received that probably could have been transitioned into a conversation, but I was dumbstruck. Like I still remember this was probably 15 years ago, maybe 10 to
Mm-hmm.
15 years ago. And I think I held the door for a woman, and she stopped and she looked at me and says, "You have very beautiful eyes." And then she just kept walking. And I was like, whoa. It's like, I don't know what to do.
Whoa.
Like,
If
I think
someone
that
told
might
me
be
that, I
a.
would have that same reaction.
I
I was stunned. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that might be a commentary on just how men
Oh, yeah.
how
Yeah.
often we get complimented,
You get
especially
about
on stuff like that.
five or six per lifetime, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a
Yeah.
quota.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like uh yesterday or this morning, I'm so mixed up on my days. I was talking. I sent a picture of I'm doing this terrible juice cleanse, and I send the juices, the pictures of the juices to my girlfriend, and one of them had I was holding it, and she was like, I really like how your hands are always like your
Hmm.
fingernails are always really clean, and like your fingers are, your fingernails are clipped and everything like that.
Jack's like,
Just
thank
a
you.
one off, yeah, right, just a one off, and it was just like you have no idea how good that made me feel.
Yeah. Those are
Yes.
It was a
priceless.
Yeah.
little thing, and it was just like so maybe our being shocked when someone compliments us is more a commentary on how often that happens,
Mm-hmm.
versus
Yeah.
I
potential
wonder if
conversations.
I wonder if we are intimidating to approach.
You mean like men in general?
Like us
Yeah.
personally or men? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian specifically.
Yes.
No, but like, I mean, if you look at, I don't know, I can't guess the reason, but I wonder what the reason is behind it.
for
Excuse me.
what not approaching men?
Just, yeah, approaching or complimenting or anything like that.
I think
I
I think
think it's scary
approaching.
for them. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I definitely
imagine.
think so. There's like a danger element to them for them, especially if they've had some
Yeah.
sort of like trauma,
Yeah.
it's just some
Mhm.
traumatic experience. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I know for purposely try to make myself like as I don't know what's the opposite of intimidating, like approachable, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
as possible. Like I usually like always will have like a smile on my face and stuff like that. Not
Mhm.
not not for like women, just for general, but
Yeah.
I'm always
Yeah.
I'm like the annoying dude who purposely will go places like looking to compliment people on stuff. So it's like
Mhm.
if I see someone with nice shoes, you're getting complimented. Like
Mhm.
if you like the same teams I like and you have like the
Mhm.
hat on or the shirt, you're getting complimented.
That's
And
cool.
and that usually opens up the door, especially with like women, like for a conversation.
Mm.
Mhm.
And so it's pretty good practice, just to get over you know, that starting or initiating something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
when the
One thing I
time
think to
is ready for something, you're ready.
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
One thing I think is important with that kind of stuff, though, is to make sure that your compliments are genuine.
Yeah,
And because I know you'd see a lot of that kind of stuff where it's like, "Hey, you look great in that dress" or whatever, and that might be true, but like, make sure the compliment's actually genuine. Make sure you mean it. If you're doing it to practice, have no other future of what could happen afterwards in mind. Like
Mm.
literally say the compliment and then move on.
yeah. Keep going. Yep.
That's a great way to, yeah, a great way to. And I agree, Adriel. I think I've heard it from so many women. We unless we're in like a dangerous area or something like that, and even some of us not, we can usually and feel pretty safe. If a girl
Yeah,
wants to have sex with us down, it's the end of the discussion. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's it. Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
there's an element of danger that we have to acknowledge that women face where, if they turn someone down or if they're not polite or if a million things, that could potentially in a female relationship, tick the male off, like they're potentially putting themselves in danger
yeah,
just for
Yeah.
existing, and that has to be a major part of it. There's still a societal standpoint or views on that, of men being the ones to approach women. I still hear
Mhm.
it all the time. where it's, the effort and that kind of stuff. Look on social media, you see it all the time where, if he's not putting in the effort, like, why should you? And there's arguments to be made about that, but I think that there is enough of that floating around where, and frankly, if that's the case, like if people are walking up to you to talk to you, you're not going to go seek other people out. You know what I mean? Like if it's coming to you, if you're at a restaurant and they're bringing you food, yes, you can go cook, but they're bringing you food, so you're not going to worry about it.
That's a good analogy.
No,
yeah.
I'm fine.
Like,
I got this.
Yeah.
Right. So, and there's always the potential that we're just ugly. So we could try to remember that too. So we're gonna go to break.
Did I shower today?
In 2 minutes. All right, 2 minutes.
Sorry, I gotta do a work email really quick.
It's all right. Just remember, don't say it all out loud because we are streaming. Maybe.
And another thing.
Yeah. My boss, Carl, the friggin' idiot. I searched through my client list, be like, no, nobody named Carl. Okay. Although they wouldn't be able to tell because they only follow my LinkedIn and we're not allowed to stream there yet. So
it's so funny because I use LinkedIn a lot for work. So like I've done like their like streaming thing for like career fairs and stuff, and I'm so tired of them. So it's like when you're saying we're not on there yet. Yeah. So when you say like, oh, we're not there yet, I'm just like, thank God, I hate them. So tired of them.
there was a meme years ago because for a while, and I think they got sued and everybody got like a free year of LinkedIn Plus or something like. Where you could not shut off notifications. Like I'd open up my email. And I think that's why Gmail started to separate stuff out. 1 minute.
That's great marketing.
Oh my God, 140 million emails from LinkedIn, and I'm like from people that I don't know or care about. A realtor wants to connect with me. It's like, well, I work in AV. Why do I want to talk to it? Like, unless you want me to edit your, commercial. But yeah, that was the worst.
Jack, have you thought about buying property in Minnesota? I can help you. You're the connection of a connection's connection.
30 seconds. That's the worst, are the people that have the auto replies to where they'll send you a connection and then you'll get the message right away.
Immediately, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, now you can preview it. You can preview it if there's something there. So now I don't even.
They'll say the same thing. And we're back. I have a couple of announcements here. First of all, VM holds weekly voice chat hangouts on Mondays at 7 p.m. It's a great way for men to connect on something other than text. The LGBTQIA section of the server will hold their monthly chat on the 17th at 7:30 p.m. The topic will be on mental health, and we're going to have a show next week for VM Live, but then we're actually skipping a week. We're going to take a week off. We'll get to why. Hopefully, after that, maybe explain why we weren't there, but we will be. We'll probably do a best of episode or something like that. Anyway, all times are Eastern, and everything takes place on the Visible Man Discord server. It's in the show notes. And if you're on Facebook, I think we have it in there too. So. Okay, so that's it for the announcements for today. Move them out of my eyesight, or else I'll try to read them while I'm. This music's terrible. We have a couple of comments coming in from the server. One guy had said that classic on a lot of women's profiles is if you're under 6 foot, don't bother.
Oh,
and then they
say,
yeah.
I am. Yeah.
How tall are you, Jeff?
6 feet too.
5'9", 5'10", something like that. Under 6 feet.
Evan, we're all under 6 feet.
We did not. None of us make the cut.
We'll get some lifts. Yeah, I at one hand you get angry like, why? Oh, that's not cool. I can't control that. But again, it's kind of like the whole thing. If you can get a bunch of people that are your preference, and there's nothing wrong with having preferences, by the way. It's the same kind of thing with the kitchen and the going to a restaurant. If you get a bunch of people that are 6 feet tall and you like people that are over 6 feet tall, I think some of the anger comes in with that stuff when you see somebody who's has a long list of requirements like that, and then they don't. It seems like they don't match up to those requirements on a the classic kind of rating scale. You know what I mean? And that kind of stuff, you see that it can be frustrating. But I imagine I've never been on the other side. Maybe maybe one of us just for funsies one time should set up a profile, if it's, I don't know if it's illegal or whatever, as a woman, and just to see, because I don't know what dudes' profiles look like.
Oh,
All I see are the stuff that people post online, like this is what you shouldn't do. And one of the things that they say you shouldn't do is, and they show up a lot, is you fishing. I kind of get that. But one thing I think,
sorry, Tim.
pointed out is tend not to take pictures of themselves for no reason. I hate taking
like selfies. Oh no.
Yeah, our pictures tend to, and I'm not saying that women like, hey, I'm just going to take a picture for no reason, but women are generally more apt to, when they're out with friends or whatever, take pictures. Like I'll go out with friends and there'll be not one photo taken, and a girlfriend or something. Well, why not? I'm like, well, why? Like, I know what he looks like. I know what the bar looks like. I don't need a picture of that. But guys, when we take pictures, when we remember to, it's usually like an accomplishment or something that we did. And so I think that's where those, like, hey, look, here's my fish. I think that's
it's like the last picture on my photo reel was me with the fish.
That's
that was like 3 years
I'm
ago.
most proud of. Yeah, is catching that trout. So I think that's where that, but that animal's not good. It's talking about how one guy said that they're not bothered by the height thing, or as bothered by the height thing as they
That guy's 6'4".
dating. Yeah, right.
It's all good.
They say if you're a monster, if you don't want to date someone that's overweight, and
I've heard that, like, counterpoint to the height thing.
Yeah. And I've seen something here. It says that some girls say that guys are much more visual, but on dating apps, that's really all you have to go on, or at least the majority of what you have.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit of we've collectively over the years told the world that men are more visual than women. Just like we've collectively told that men are more sexual than women. And I think we're starting to figure it out that that's not the case. First of all, there's a wide range of, what people are attracted in, and that kind of stuff, and a wide range of, for lack of a better word right now, like horniness level. But I think we're starting to learn that kind of, men are these horny, crazy, always wanting to do nothing but have sex, and women have to be seduced. I think we're learning that that's not totally the case, and I think it's the same for visual and apps like Tinder and that kind of stuff. I think prove it a little bit, because if that were the case, then it would be, the guys would see the pictures and the girls would just get the resume
just
or
the
whatever.
text,
The resume.
But I think that acknowledging that evens the playing field a little bit, and I think it also ups our responsibility a little bit. I came from the kind of being taught, if you want to attract women, you should try to, better yourself. Look nice, wear clean clothes. Yes, stick. Like if I want to have my hair a certain way and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's not saying not to be individualized, but I came from that kind of growing up that way. Like, don't expect to impress people if you look sloppy or if you don't take care of yourself. And I'm not saying it's right, but I think there is an aspect there. At the end of the day, we are animals, and so if you look like an unhealthy, sick, sloppy kind of person, I think there is something to be said about putting some of the ownership of the attraction themselves. you know,
Yeah.
not the whole
Yeah.
thing. And it's not saying anything or anybody like that. You know, beauty is beauty. Everyone's beautiful.
Mhm.
You know, like that's I'll fight anyone on that. You know what I mean? And everybody's
Yeah.
deserving of love. And there's somebody out there. I believe there's people out there for everyone.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I think where we run into trouble is when we uh, point the blame squarely on whoever we're trying to date, whatever gender,
Yeah.
sexuality, or
Yeah.
whatever that they are. So I think the
Yeah.
roundabout way of saying that we should take some of the ownership
Yeah.
of
Well,
that.
I think it's attractive to be confident and
Hmm.
sure of yourself. You know, like Jack, with your with your example before, where you would go up to somebody and you were less concerned about the outcome of that approach than you were just the fact that you did the approach. When you're not as what was the word you used? The word thirsty comes to mind, but like
Desperate,
um,
yeah, same
desperate.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. When you're confident in yourself and you're like, I'm good. Like I'm good
Hmm.
without this person. It would be great to have this person in my life or whatever for this night or what, you know. But when you're not so
Hmm.
desperate, it's kind of attractive. And I think you'd only reach that point unless you take care of yourself in all the ways. You know,
Hmm.
clean up your fingernails, but you get enough sleep, you exercise, you're confident, you work on yourself.
Hmm.
Um, that in itself, I think, is attractive, and that that can pay dividends if you however you want to look at it.
Yeah, that is to acknowledge that that's going to have some benefits when it comes to dating. You know,
Mm.
Yeah. Well.
the
Yeah.
better you are, the better version of yourself that you are, the more attractive you will be. But I think the trick to it is to, yes, acknowledge, be aware of that, but don't do it for that reason. You know,
Yeah,
be
yeah.
the
It's not a
best you can
means to an
be.
end. Yeah,
Be the best you
yeah,
can be for yourself. Find, that
yeah.
equilibrium, that balance, that happiness, those things for yourself.
Yeah.
You hear it
Well,
all the time. Go ahead.
uh, uh, this week when we had the talk with Victory,
Hmm.
and he was talking about his own.
Great
He's like,
talk.
he was saying, being your authentic self is
Hmm.
the best thing you can do. And he's like, if people don't like the fact that I do this thing, that's okay because I'm still gonna do it. And if I
Hmm.
say no, I don't want to go out tonight because I want to do this thing that I love to do. That's
Hmm.
okay because I love doing it, and that's what makes me me. You
Hmm.
know, and
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
That is.
No, I agree. I mean, a
Yeah.
relationship isn't going to make you happy.
No.
It may give you temporary, pleasure, but it's not going to solve all of your other problems. What's going to happen is you're going to have all of your other problems and also relationship problems. Uh, now
Yeah,
that's not to say, because I hate to sit there and say like, oh, the guys in the relationship say that, of course, but that's not to say that having someone there can help you with those things.
yeah.
Problems seem a lot easier when you have someone to go home to. Like, I get
Mm,
that. But you aren't going to find a relationship.
yeah. If we're kind of talking about relationships and stuff now, but in the
Mhm,
beginning we were talking about the initial approach and the art of dating, I guess. One thing that I genuinely don't know how to I don't know, resolve, or that I've thought about lately is
mhm,
um just like in a job interview, you put on your best version of yourself when you're talking with somebody. And when
mhm,
I can think back to first and
Hmm.
second dates that I've been on, where it's almost like to be your complete authentic self from the beginning is really hard, and
mhm,
it's hard to be it's hard to find that balance of like, I'm going to be the
mhm,
best version of myself and then go home and be my real self, and but at some point those two are going to collide or mix or converge,
mhm,
and then the
Yeah.
relationship may not work out if you've waited too long to show your authentic self. So I think finding that balance is hard.
I
mhm. Yeah.
think I think a big part of that is like when the fear of being your authentic self from the jump is that
Mm,
if they reject you, they rejected your authentic self. While
mm,
when
Mhm,
you're this kind of fake, like version of yourself, presentable,
mhm,
at least if they reject that, you're like, well, that's not really me. It's like, they
yeah,
didn't really
yeah,
reject
yeah,
me because that's not my authentic self.
mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I
But I
think,
get what you're
yeah.
saying, Jeff, because it's like every kind of get more and more like you kind of take off one layer, next day another layer, and then like day three or
right,
four, like, hey, this is me.
yeah. Right.
I think they say, yeah, it takes. I mean, this is all just crap our mom stole us a long time ago. But I
Hmm.
think
I was like, who's
they
they?
say about 9 months of consistent dating, for you to
Nine
really kind of for
months.
the mask
9 months?
to come off. Yeah, well, that's back when
Wow.
people. Now, remind you that came out back when people would like go on like one date or two dates a week. Whereas now it just seems like when you're with someone, you were with them 24/7. I've noticed that
Yeah.
happens a lot more than it used to.
Yeah.
But that makes sense because you get you past that honeymoon period, past that initial kind of chemically driven lust period, and
Hmm.
at that point you're kind of looking at the person for who they are instead of
Yeah.
through the lens of all the chemical reactions going
Yeah.
on.
Well, it gets tiring
um
to sustain that non-real version of yourself too.
yeah.
Because it's it's just not authentic. So it takes energy to sustain that mask or
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it.
So would you
Yeah.
say your biggest piece of advice for dating people, whatever you want to call it, would be to, find that authentic person. Somebody said in the comments, somebody that shares their values and those kind of things.
Yeah.
To find the authenticity within yourself and just be that person, and you'll figure it out from there.
I th- I think that's the ideal that we're all shooting
Hmm.
for. I think that the way to find that, unfortunately, is through doing it the hard way, where you realize that somebody collides with your values, and you don't realize that until somebody disagrees with you or makes you
Hmm.
uncomfortable. And then, not that you want to call that a relationship, but an interaction, a date or two, and you're like, "Ooh, that didn't feel good when she said that or he said that." Like, okay, now
Hmm.
I know that that's one of my values. It's almost like you have to, I don't know, empirically or reverse engineer what you are by interacting with other people.
Yeah, I think there's something to be get it wrong, quite
Yeah,
a few
yeah,
times before you figure out
Yeah.
how to get it
yeah,
right. I mean, most people don't get married to the first person that they fall in love
No.
with nowadays, anyway.
yeah.
And
That's what
statistically,
I was
after
gonna
that,
say
most of
is
those people don't even stay married. So,
case in
Yeah.
point, 1, 2, 3. No, but I was,
what were you going to
just
say, Joe?
I was just with expectations. Like there's like too
Mhm.
many like people put too much on stuff like so early, you know? It's like
Mm,
they have one conversation with this person and they start thinking all these crazy thoughts, like, like way ahead in the future or too deep into them when it's like, man, like it was just like one conversation, or just like
yeah.
it's like it's going, like most likely this is where it's going to end, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
it's okay if you put in time and a few dates into someone and it doesn't work out for whatever reason,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. No.
something. Our last talk was about how men handle breakups. And that's
Mhm.
one thing on the week since that discussion, I regret not talking about that type of discussion that you brought up, Adriel, where like it's just not going to work out. I suck at that. I
Mhm.
suck at saying I don't think this is going to work out. It's very hard to be that direct. Um,
Mhm.
but I think it's an important discussion to have.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's tough. That's really tough. So, we hope we gave some kind of.
It's
Don't
data.
really
It's all
go for
data. I
advice
love
here.
data.
Yeah, we don't really go for advice here. This is more just
Spreadsheet.
sharing our experiences with this kind of stuff. So,
If it doesn't
at the
work,
end,
we had a LOL JK at the end, so don't blame us.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
LOL.
LOL, JK, good to go. Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Remember to check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/visibleman. We don't have anything set up for it yet. We're still working on that, but we want to make sure that the bulk of what we do is free and accessible. So when we do set up certain things, that will still be kind of our goal point. But if you support all the stuff that we're doing with the podcasts and the live talks and the server and the website and all those kind of things, again, that's patreon.com/visibleman. Anybody 18 or over, join our men's mental health Discord server. We have moderated this daily about men and men's mental health. Check us out at visibleman.org. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and LinkedIn and Pinterest Adro's still working on the MySpace. We're trying to figure out what kind of music we want for that. We will be on MySpace.
Damn it, Tom.
Hey, for those of you who are listening to this via the podcast, please remember to rate and subscribe. That helps other people find the show. Adro, why don't you say it for me for the people who are watching us? What would you like them to do?
Smash that like button. And subscribe.
Subscribe.
And donate.
Anyway, this is Jack Rollins for Visible Man reminding you that vulnerability is the ultimate demonstration of strength. Cheers.